The fallout from the battle between the US and Huawei will reshape the smartphone industry this year, and China could well get more influence than it has ever enjoyed before. The downside risks from America blacklisting one of the world's largest smartphone makers are now becoming much more serious and much more real. Now it gets interesting. Unsurprisingly, the lobbying and peacock politics are in full swing as the world waits to see where the new Biden administration will land on Huawei. This battle came to symbolize the tech war between Trump and Beijing. Now Biden's team need to unpick the differences between security-focused restrictions on 5G equipment sales and a punitive stranglehold on a consumer smartphone business. Cruz wants Biden's team to commit to keep the massive Chinese Communist Party spy operation Huawei on the entity list, and is holding up the Senate nomination of Gina Raimondo for Commerce Secretary until such assurances are forthcoming. And the new administration is making it clear that the national security concerns remain and so the restrictions remain. But it's not that simple. The challenge for Biden is that it is difficult to justify the extent of Huawei's blacklist on security grounds alone. It was tied into trade negotiations and a broader tech standoff, well beyond the 5G concerns which triggered U.S. action. If America's house style is now more measured, less emotional, less theatrical, then this debate will be viewed differently. Which takes us back to the critical question for Huawei: where's the security threat in people around the world using Google apps on a smartphone? Even on the 5G side, where there is a case to be made for national security interests over buying critical infrastructure from a privately owned Chinese entity, the SolarWinds debacle paints a brutal truth for the West. Hiding backdoors in Huawei kit is too obvious, it's pretty much coming at you through the front door. It's clearly better for a nation-state to compromise someone else's supply chain, to make sure you don't see the threat coming. Ironically, Huawei's equipment is also reportedly vulnerable to such a compromise, say the experts, not because it is Chinese but because it has holes in its security and build quality. This has been the consistent finding, year after year, from the Huawei Evaluation Centre set up under the remit of the UK's GCHQ spy agency to monitor Huawei's role in the country. The infamous U-turn that eventually banned Huawei from the UK's 5G network came about because the US sanctions ultimately restricted Huawei's supply chain too extensively, increasing this kind of risk. There is another factor here, of course. Huawei was China's fabled export champion. Its first big tech player that managed to go head-to-head with Western champions in their own backyard and win, to compete on a level playing field.